Hey everyone, let's talk sales. This video is going to cover the pros and cons of wholesale and some options if you choose this route. The next in this series is going to cover direct-to-consumer retail, and the one after that is going to go over trade shows. You might be wondering, where do runway shows fit in? They don't. Okay, runway shows are no longer about sales, but about publicity, and I promise you that you can have a successful fashion company without doing a single show. Disclaimer, I'm a designer, not a sales agent or rep. I'm not a business consultant. Consider this video a starting point for you to do your own research for your own sales avenues and markets and all that good stuff, okay? What is it that they say? Like, half the battle is knowing what questions to ask. I'm going to help you figure out what questions you need to ask yourself. Okay? And therefore, I will not answer questions like, Zoe, I want to sell kitten mittens. Should I use selling stuff on the internet.com for my sales? I don't know, okay? You have to do the research and make those decisions for yourself. I will just completely ignore questions like that. When I prepared this lesson plan, it's, I'm going about for the point of view of someone starting their own company. But this is good, basic, sales knowledge so that you can get an idea for how sales are run in the garment industry. In fact, most of this information will apply to a lot of different industries. So yeah, feel free to share with anyone who wants to go into business for themselves. Okay? Now, the first thing you want to ask yourself when you're figuring out your sales is whether you want to go wholesale or direct-to-consumer retail. You might be asking, why can't I do both, Zoe? That will be more evident when I go over direct-to-consumer retail more in depth in the next video. Okay? But for now, let's focus on wholesale. Okay? Wholesale is when you sell your stuff to stores in bulk, and they sell your stuff individually to individuals, customers, consumers, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and this can be brick and mortar stores. Brick and mortar store is the physical store that you walk into. They can be brick and mortar stores, or they can be online stores, or both. Okay? It can be, that bulk can be 10 items or 100,000 items or 1,000,000 items. Okay, and direct to consumer retail is when you yourself sell individual items to individual consumers, okay, without the middleman. So what are some of the pros of working wholesale? Number one, the biggest one, I think, is you can take advantage of the store's advertising and reach and brand recognition. Department stores, boutiques, chain stores, they all have their own brands. They all have their own ways of influencing how people shop. Okay. When you walk into a Macy's, you have a general idea already of the price points that you can be expecting, the quality level, and the styling, the general styling that you can expect. People are familiar with Macy's. When we walk into a Neiman Marcus, you expect everything to be super high quality. And so when you see a new brand at Neiman Marcus, you also believe that it is going to be super high quality as well. You expect it to be super expensive, and you expect it to be, proportionately high quality to that price. Okay. And so even if you're not familiar with that individual design brand, it's like, oh, they're selling it at Neiman Marcus. It must be expensive and quality. The same is true of boutiques. Boutiques have their own price point, have their own look, even more specialized than department stores. So it really basically adds to your company resume of sorts to be like, yeah, Barney's carries my stuff. Okay? That's a huge brag. It's like, yeah, there's a difference between being like, oh yeah, I have my own design company, and yeah, I have a line, and they sell it at Barney's and they sell it at Saks. That brand recognition, and people respect your line, all kinds of stuff, right? That goes into, basically partnering with a store or a chain of stores. Another pro of wholesale is You don't have to manage your own sales. Yeah, I mean, you have to work with buyers and stuff, but you don't have to work individual retail. I mean, I'm sure many of us have firsthand knowledge of the hellscape that retail can be. And some customers are the worst. They're the worst. I've worked retail basically 6 weeks. Okay, I was a temporary employee at a Halloween costume store. So I knew, the job was over like after the first week of November. Like once Halloween was over and we did the cleanup aftermath, I knew that job for me was over. And there were times, like overall the job was fine, but there were definitely times where that was what got me through the day. It's like, my last day is November 6th. The last day is November 6th. So dealing with, sales sometimes, it can be rewarding. It can be a pain in the butt, dealing with shipping, returns, complaints, diva shoppers, sloppy dressing room squatters, people who complain about nothing. So you don't have to deal with that. And that could be awesome. So what are some of the cons of going the wholesale route? Number one, when you're brand new, it can be very difficult to get the attention of buyers. Another con is you have two levels of customers. You have to appeal to wholesale buyers because they're the ones that are going to place the initial orders. But you also have to appeal to the individual customer because if they don't buy your stuff, the buyer's not going to come back to order from you the next season. This is me being a broken record again. Go shopping. Okay? I love online shopping, but there are things that you cannot learn by cruising online. Okay? You need to go to the store. You need to see how buyers and store managers merchandise their stores. You need to pay attention to what is selling, what is ending up on the sales rack. Okay, go to the stores that you want to hang your stuff in, your ideal stores. And then also some stores where it might not be ideal, but it would be kind of cool, right? And check those out. Watch shoppers. Okay, don't be that creepy guy, but try to be like sly about it. But watch shoppers, see what they gravitate towards. Take notes, mental notes. You do not want to be the designer who is always on the sales rack. Buyers love the people who sell through at full price. Okay? And if your stuff is consistently, like the bulk of your stuff is consistently in the sales rack, they might think twice about buying from you again. Another con is the money factor. Okay, let's do a little retail math. Number one, these numbers are not accurate. Okay? They're just nice round numbers so that I can get my point across to you. And these numbers are not suggestions for how you should mark up your stuff. Okay? They're just nice round numbers so you understand my concepts. Okay? So let's say a design company makes a dress and it costs $50 to make. And the design company, they have to mark it up so that they're making money too, right? Okay, so let's pretend they decide to sell it for $100. Now you might be thinking, holy crap, are they making $50 profit per dress? No. Okay. That $50 markup, part of it is profit. A lot of it is rent, salaries, overhead, things that don't go directly into the cost of the garment, things like fabric and thread and trim, but are involved with, the cost of doing business. And yeah, profit is definitely in there. You have to make money. Now, the store also needs to take your $100 dress and they need to mark it up so that they too are covering the costs of doing business and making a profit. Standard retail markup is 2.2. Okay. I mean, not that everyone follows that or anything. Okay. So now that $100 dress is $220 at the store. Now, many brands, they sell in both other stores, okay, and their own freestanding stores. It used to be more difficult to do this because buying and running your own store is very expensive. But now with the internet and online shopping and all that, it's less expensive and, pause for police siren. Are you done? Back in the day, pre-internet era, it was hard for smaller brands to have their own store because, man, that stuff is expensive. Rent, employees, that kind of thing. But now with the internet, it is much easier and cheaper for even smaller brands to have their own online store. So, a lot of brands do both. They sell to stores and they have their own store. Here's the deal. Okay, let's go back to that $50 dress. When Ralph Lauren, Ralph Lauren is a company that sells in department stores and also has their own freestanding stores, right? So Ralph Lauren, for example, let's say they have that $50 dress and they sell it to a store. They say that they sell it to Bloomingdale's for $100, okay? And they are making $50 a dress. When Ralph Lauren sells that same dress in their own stores, they still need to sell it around $220, okay? And you're like, why? Because if they don't, no one will do business with them ever again. If Ralph Lauren sells that dress for $100 in their own store, and Bloomingdale's is not going to sell it for $220 in their own store, they're not going to sell it at all. If Ralph Lauren, consistently sells at dirt cheap prices, pre-sale, right? When it's full price and it's only $100, why would Bloomingdale's buy from Ralph Lauren? They're like, screw you. You're screwing us over. You have all the customers. You're like, it's not good business. Okay. The industry standard is, the markup, you have your manufacturer's suggested retail price, MSRP or SRP, suggested retail price. And everyone hits that around that suggested retail price. Okay. So Bloomingdale's, they'll sell it for $220. Maybe Ralph Lauren will sell it for $210, whatever. Okay. But that same dress has to be around the same SRP. The thing is now, when Ralph Lauren sells that dress to Bloomingdale's, again, they're making only $50 a dress. When Ralph Lauren sells that same dress in their own stores, okay, $220 minus $50, they're making $170 a dress. And yeah, definitely some of that money goes into the extra cost of, managing sales and stores and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, all that money is going to the same company. It's all going to Ralph Lauren as opposed to also going to Bloomingdale's. So yeah, you cannot, sell your dress and sell it for like extra super cheaper in your own store unless you are running like a end of season blowout, get rid of inventory sale. When you're selling stuff at full price, it has to be comparable to the SRP. Okay. And that's why in the line sheets, a lot of designers put an SRP there, so that people are all on the same page as to what price this dress is going to go at market. So let's say you want to go the wholesale route. What are your options? Let's start with what's not your option. Okay. Being your own sales rep is not an option. If you are a designer, do not be your own sales rep. Even if you started as a sales rep and decided to become a designer, I actually still recommend that you get a separate sales rep, okay? That you not rep yourself. Here's the deal. Buyers, in general, don't like talking to designers. They like talking to sales reps. Don't get offended. Do not get offended. It's not personal. And I say this as a designer, okay? I know buyers don't like talking to me. Designers, of course I'm generalizing. Not all designers are like this, but for the most part, designers, they talk about design inspiration. They talk about which one is their favorite pair of pants and how they just love this pink this season. And they talk about little design details. And they want to share with you the story about how they discovered this little old lady who lives in the Himalayas and does this completely, almost extinct style of embroidery and shit like that. And, look, I'm a designer and I love hearing all those stories. If you have stories like that, tell me all the stories. Buyers and sales reps give zero fucks. They might actually give negative fucks. They don't care about that stuff. Journalists care. They love to craft a behind the scenes story about, how the designer was inspired by, lily pads and tadpoles and, why they're chose to embellish a dress with silver toggles as opposed to standard beading and all that stuff. And, I swear to God, if I had a dollar for every time a journalist ever asked me, what's your inspiration, Zoe? I would have like all of the dollars. I would have so many dollars. Whew, so many dollars, okay? Journalists love that shit. Buyers, they want to know sell-through rates, delivery dates. They want to know if you have any best sellers from last season that you're running again in new colors. Okay, pro tip, if you have a hot item from last season, you need to run it again in new colors. All right. In fact, you should put on your line sheet, maybe put a star next to it, be all like last season's bestseller. Okay. And, the sales rep will say things like, these jeans make everyone's ass look amazing. And so we sold out everywhere last season. Okay, you need to buy these jeans. That's the kind of stuff they have conversations about. Not about like, I was so inspired with this stitching that I used like actual metal thread. They don't care. Okay, they're like sell-through rates. Right? They want to know if you made changes to the fit somehow, because that's going to impact sales. They want to know if you've moved your production so that the prices have changed a whole lot. Okay, those are the things that affect business. Okay? And they want to talk about all these things without worrying about hurting a designer's feelings. Okay. And, that's just what it is. They don't care which one is your favorite or which one you're kind of reluctant to sell because you kind of hate it and you don't want to put that design out into the world. Okay. These are all examples of things I've heard designers say. They don't want to hear that. Okay. Buyers like talking business with sales reps. Okay? And if you want to rep yourself, I am telling you, like, you could start off well. You could start off being all number crunchy, and then you're going to veer off into your design inspiration and, save that stuff for when you meet individual customers. Okay? A lot of individual customers, they love that stuff. I've gone to a couple of like these famous designer meet and greets, and I like listen to what customers like to talk about. And they're like, oh, what led you to design this? And what's this print inspired by? They love that stuff. So, save that information, save that conversation for them. The non-option is to be your own sales rep. So option number one, let's talk about actual options, is you can use a showroom. Okay. A showroom is a room that shows samples. Okay, the showroom is a general sales term across multiple industries. A showroom is a room, and it has samples from whatever thing people want to buy, right? And so you will send over a complete set of samples to the showroom, to your sales rep at the showroom, and they will display it beautifully in their office. And then buyers come to visit their offices, and hopefully, the line gets shown and paper gets written. I hear that industry term a lot, writing paper. It's like, how much paper did you write? 550,000, So there are a lot of varieties. A company can have a showroom devoted solely to their own line or lines. They can have their main line and their diffusion lines or their children's wear lines, like all in one showroom. You can have a showroom with multiple sales reps with multiple lines. You can have, all kind of varieties. And, smaller companies, they like to join up with these showrooms that have multiple lines so that when buyers come to visit these other lines, they'll come check out the newbie as well. You need to find a showroom that carries your competition. If you make yoga pants, you don't want to be in a showroom that only has, business slacks. Okay? Like, what buyer is going to come just for you? You need to find a showroom that reps lines that are similar to yours in both style and price point. And I know you're going to say something to me like, Zoe, my shit is one of a kind. I'm original. Like, no, I get that. Okay. That's your whole point as a designer is to be new and fresh. I get it. What I'm saying is you have a customer and you have a price point, and your customer, they don't only just wear your stuff, they wear other things. So you have like a style, a vibe, a price point, a customer, lifestyle that you want to fit into. And so your showroom, you should fit into your showroom like that. Okay. You don't want to stick out like a sore thumb. You want to stand out because you're the most beautiful line in that showroom, but you should all kind of fit in. Okay. Think about, if you sell at Nordstrom, what department will you be in? Okay. Like we were saying before, like department stores, they have a kind of price point range. They have a customer. But again, within the Nordstrom, what department are you in? Yeah, your yoga pants, they're the best yoga pants in the whole wide world. But who's your competition? Is Under Armour your competition? Is Champion your competition? Is Lululemon your competition? Okay, different lifestyles, different price points. Where do you fit in? Okay, you need to do that market research for your brand. Because, just like design companies, just like department stores, showrooms also have their own reputation and brand recognition among buyers. They'll be like, oh yeah, I definitely want to hit that showroom when I'm in LA because they have all the best preteen, teen stuff, super cute, without that obnoxious, sparkly writing shit. Their stuff is like always super cute, like just a little bit edgy, but nothing too weird. Like, they have their own way of describing stuff. And again, why buyers don't like talking to designers, because when you talk to designers about their stuff, they're so sensitive about what adjectives you use. Keep in mind that, you can't just like go to a showroom and be like, you rep my shit. Thanks. Okay. It's not like you can go to a store and be like, I'm going to buy these markers. Here is the money. Give me the markers. Right. It's not the same. Right? It's more like a job interview where the company has to have an opening. And so you apply and you're being interviewed, but also you're asking questions, you're getting to know the company and seeing if it's a right fit and if the job that they require you to do is something that you want to do, that kind of thing. You approach a showroom, you talk to them about your line and your price point, your customer, and who you're currently selling with, at, and all that stuff. It's a kind of a back and forth process, and you talk about, what the showroom can do for you and, contract negotiations, that kind of stuff. It's a back and forth thing. Option 2 is the reverse. Okay, you can have a traveling sales rep. So instead of a brick and mortar showroom somewhere, you can have a sales rep that goes around and visits buyers and shows off samples. And again, the sales rep can rep one line or they can rep multiple lines. And, some companies, they get bigger. And so you have multiple sales reps and each sales rep has a region. Okay. So, there's a lot of flexibility there, but you can have sales reps out in the world repping your stuff. Like I used to work for a place where, we had half a dozen sales reps in the US and they each had their own region. And my VP of sales, over coffee would tell me stuff like, our West Coast sales rep is just lazy. Dude has no hustle. I think I'm going to give Idaho and Nevada to our mountain guy, our mountain region guy. And that's a big deal because these guys work on commission, right? But yeah, so they have their regions and they have, their geographical zones and they stick to those and they travel within their regions with the samples. And you have to give your sales rep a set of samples. So if you have a showroom, you send them a set of samples. If you have a traveling sales rep, you have to give them a set of samples. If you have 6 sales reps, they each need a set of samples. You might have to do a complete set of samples for every sales rep, or some sales reps, especially with more established companies, like they might just know. You make a catalog, you send it over, and they'll flip through it, and they'll be like, send me, these styles, okay? No one in my region is going to buy these things. Like the guy, previous company, he worked the Deep South. Nobody wanted fur. No, they wanted unlined lightweight jackets, so they know what's going to sell in their region in terms of temperature and customer and stuff. And so they didn't want the full line. They just wanted all the lighter coats and jackets from our line. Yeah, so those are some more options for you. A sales rep with multiple lines, sales rep with just your line. You need to figure out what kind of Rolodex your sales rep has. Do people have Rolodexes anymore? I basically their contact sheet, like who their contacts are, who they know, which buyers they're already working with. You want to know these things before you lock down a contract with a sales rep. Option number 3, you can have in-house sales. So a salesperson that will be at your office, be at your home base, and they make 200 phone calls, write 850 emails. They send out sales packages like line sheets and lookbooks, and sometimes they'll send out a sample here and there if they really want to take a look at something before they put in the order. So some random notes on wholesale. Number 1, you as a designer need to prepare the selling materials for your sales agents. So lookbooks, line sheets, and samples for every piece you sell. Number 2, you need to figure out the buying calendar for your market and have your sales materials ready in time. Buyers don't buy year round. They are also part of a business and they have their own cash flow. They are sometimes open to buy, sometimes they are not. So they have, and children's wear works on a different sales cycle than couture. So you need to figure out the buying and selling calendar, the trade show calendar for your market and plan accordingly. And on that note, you also need to figure out your production schedule so that you can give a firm delivery date to your buyers. Okay? Buyers aren't going to buy if you don't know when your shit's going to be ready. And you're like, how am I supposed to figure that? This is my first season. You need to talk to your factory. So I have this skirt. How long is it going to take to cut and sew 300 of them? Okay, you need to do the legwork. You need to talk to your supply chain. You need to figure out how long it takes to ship materials to the factory and how long that's going to take. You need to calendar it all out. Every line sheet and lookbook should have your sell dates and your delivery dates. Okay, your sell dates are, I'm accepting orders in between these dates, 1:30 to 2:28. This is when I'm taking orders, and then I'm going to deliver whatever, right? 6:30 to 7:30. Okay, this is when I'll be delivering the goods, because these businesses, they need to plan for when merchandise is going to arrive so they can put out there, especially if your stuff is seasonal. Okay, if you're doing bathing suits, when are they selling bathing suits at the store? Okay, you can't just send them shit willy-nilly. They have a season where they're going to be putting a lot of bathing suits out on the floor. And they want to order for when they know they're going to need bathing suits on the floor. Right? So you need to have those dates. You need to do your homework. Number 4, you need to be very careful about chargebacks. You need to be careful about the contracts you draw with these stores. Okay, the pros and cons of boutiques and department stores. Okay, like boutiques, they're small and their orders are small, but they're easier to work with. Because department stores, my God. I mean, depending on who you're working with, what department you're working with within the department store, it's like they will send over these EDIs, just so many stipulations. And if you are a toe out of line, if you're a day late, everything is $300. And, they'll give you details like every single UPC code needs to be punched into the side seam 1 inch below arm's eye. And if it's not there, if it's not precisely there, they will charge you. Okay, chargebacks are when you don't follow the sales contract perfectly, and they charge you money for every infraction. And yes, I have heard stories of times where the chargebacks are so severe, the designer actually ended up owing them money at the end of the day. Okay, the chargebacks exceeded the amount of the original order. I know, that's crazy, but it happens. Okay, so you really need to be careful about stuff like that. I think at this point, you're like, oh my God, Zoe, I'm never doing wholesale. All of that sounds fucking terrible. Why the hell would anyone go the wholesale route? Okay. Again, exposure and reach. Rewind to the beginning of this video where I go over the pros of going the wholesale route. I mean, you can have a website and it can be the most beautiful and easy to navigate website in the world. It could be award-winning. But if you don't get traffic to your website, it doesn't matter, okay? And so, yeah, being in a few of the right stores and getting their publicity and advertising, it can do big things for your business, okay? So, yeah, you need to figure out what works for you and your brand, okay? I recommend not making any huge decisions without doing some research and also watching my video on direct to consumer retail, which will be in a few weeks. Pros and cons, do your research. Hashtag always be practicing, hashtag always be doing your research. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, share with all your friends who are thinking about going into business, and subscribe if you haven't already if you want an alert for when I put out the next video in the sales series. There's a lot of stuff to wade through, but I have every faith that you can do it. Okay. Good luck, and I will see you in the next video.